called Pretty Little Horses, and you may know it as a lullaby, but it's also a lament. Because, you know, going back to slavery, it was a terrible time in our country, and just all sorts of things really happened that were really terrible. So one of the things that happened, and you see The Handmaid's Tale, these ladies who bear children but can't keep them and have to wet nurse them and so forth and so on. And so it's like that in slavery, and there's this one picture that is really so, I don't even know what the word for it is. There's a woman, and she's got a white baby on one breast and a black baby on the other breast, and she's feeding the baby, and sometimes she wouldn't be able to even feed her own baby, and then sometimes she would get beat if she mixed the breast up, because somehow, I don't know what they thought. Anyway, so, but this song is called Pretty Little Horses, and it's a beautiful song. It's a work song, so she was singing it to comfort herself, but it's also a lament. Hush, abide, don't you cry, go to sleep, little baby. When you wake, you shall have Go to sleep, little baby. So now I want to talk about prison a little bit. You know, because there was slavery, and then there was prison for slavery. And the prison system is really something. It's being privatized. It's becoming one of the biggest lobbying groups in the United States. And privatized, you know, they have to keep a certain level of people in prison. And if they don't, then the state has to pay them or some nonsense. It's really ridiculous. But what's really awful is we see how unevenly different people in the populations are going to prison. And we're able to see that through social media. Now, you know I'm a senior citizen, so social media gets on my nerves, right? But I am really happy about it because what I'm able to do is I'm able to really see what's going on, and we're able to share what's going on about that prison. So, you know, the woman who accidentally voted, and she's got 5 years versus the child who raped the girl, and he got probation, and the bus driver who raped the child, and you know, it's just ridiculous. You understand? Prison is really terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And so hopefully one day there won't be no prisons no more. There'll be some way to rehabilitate people without prison. But I'm going to sing some songs for you from the Women's Penitentiary in Partridge, Mississippi. Now, these songs were collected by one of the Lomax people or Lomax associates in the 1930s. And you know, at that time you could go to prison for spitting on the sidewalk, and you would just stay there and stay there and stay there because, you know what, free labor is better than paid labor, right? And so you would just stay in prison. And so these women, they made, I think they made sheets and uniforms and that sort of thing. And so they collected these songs, three of them: No More Freedom, Dangerous Blues, and Duberta. Don't tell me the moon looks pretty, shining down through the willow tree. I can see my baby, but my baby can't see me. I was standing on the corner of North Ferris and First Street, when that big old policeman came up and arrested me. When those jurors found me guilty, that old mean clerk, he wrote it down. I could tell by those papers that I was parchment bound. No more freedom. No times in this wide world for me. I done lost my freedom and I'm sick as I can be. But someday, yes, someday I will go free. Just like you treated me. Okay, so, now, there are many good things about this country. I don't know what I'm but some of it is really disgusting. And, I saw two things. Well, I want to speak about a few things. First, I want to speak about so-called Central Park 5 and the trauma that people are saying they can't watch it because it's true traumatic. And I understand that, but can you imagine their trauma? And part of living in the United States of America is that we as African Americans often have our trauma sidelined. You don't have to feel our trauma. You can play with Play-Doh, you can, time out and this and that. So. And if you think about it, if you really think about it, there's some trauma that it's okay for you to experience and to see over and over again, so that, because we don't want to have to live that trauma no more. But when it comes to the trauma of African Americans, often you hear, oh, I just can't do it. Now, I understand that because when it first came to me that we freed ourselves, I was reading this book, I'm a little geekazoid, and I was reading this book by John Hope Franklin and Schwenninger. It's called Rebel on the Plantation. And it talked about rebellious acts and people freeing themselves. And it was a new notion to me, because that's not what's on the postage stamp about slavery. It took me 2 years to read that book. And now I'm trying to read W.E.B. Du Bois's Reconstruction. And I imagine it's going to take me a very long time to read it. But you know what? I'm keeping at it because this is what I need to know. This is what's going to feed my soul. This is what really happened. So I'm going to say to you, you can't watch all of the Central Park thing now, watch a little bit now and a little bit later. You keep at it because it's something that you need to know. You need to see it. And that's my feeling about it. And then I want to say, even though we live in a, we live in a country, and I love it, but there are things that are happening and that are being encouraged to happen now that's really unfortunate. And again, I want to give a shout out to social media because I saw it. There are two incidences. One, this veterinarian and his wife and their little puppy dog, they're having a little picnic by a lake. They're in Mississippi, but it don't matter. It used to matter, but it don't matter. They're in Mississippi, they're black. And the white lady comes rolling up in her truck. You can't be here. But she steps out of the truck with the gun, long barrel. You can't be here. And you're like, okay, lady, you didn't have to do. And then the wife had the presence of mind to film. And once she saw it, then she's holding it down. But you can't be here. This is private. You can't be here. And I'm like, what is feeding that lady's soul so that she feels she got to take a gun to tell people to move on? On top of which, they went to the office, which her husband runs, and he said they didn't need no permit to be where they were. Of course, they said they fired her, but these are the days they fire her today and they rehire her tomorrow. But hopefully that will happen. And then the second one I saw was, my sister and her husband are both police. I love them. They're fabulous. Police do a great job. Some of them are out of their minds. And I don't remember where this was, one of them M states, I believe, but not Mississippi. And the police hold his gun like this on the boarding car. Anybody see that one? Like this on the boarding car. He's holding it, and he's like, what are you doing? And then he yells gun. The young black man in the car got his hands in the air. He says, I don't have a gun, what are you talking about? And he's holding his gun. He said, all right, you can move on. But he keeps his gun right there. And the young man says, listen, I'm not putting my hands down because if I do, you're going to shoot me. And the police keeps his hand and the gun right there. I told you to move along. And he says, if I put my hands down, you're going to shoot me. Come on. And this goes back and forth and back and forth. And then finally he calls for backup. And then finally he drags the young man out of the car. And that's the end of the thing. Anyway, I'm telling you this because this next song I want to sing to lament these kinds of things that happen in our country. The blind man stood on the road and cried. The blind man stood on the road and cried, crying, oh, my Lord, save me. The blind man stood on the road and cried, crying, what kind of shoes and those you wear? Crying, what kind of shoes and those you wear? Crying, oh,
Something. Yeah.
Just give me a second.
sale, and we only have a few left, and they're what, $40 each? They're 10. They're $10 each, and really, you want to get one of these because if you get one here, she will sign it for you with the Sharpie pens we have, which will make it a collector's item, and this could be your retirement. Is what I'm saying. Also, she has a mailing list over here. She'll be playing at Roots and Ruckus at Jalopy, which is sponsoring this on the 26th of June.
No, the 19th.
19th of June, sorry, my mistake. See, that's why I should be on your mailing list, so
Yeah.
I don't forget these things. So please come over here and,
Keep inching along, keep inching along. Master Jesus is coming by and by. Keep inching along like a boat inchworm. Master Jesus is coming by and by. So you just gotta keep moving, keep it moving. And you know the song now, right? Okay? He's like, I'm sorry, it's above me now. So you better mind. And this is one of those songs that talks about how you gotta act, how you gotta treat people in the world. You better mind how you talk. You better mind what you're talking about. You gotta give an account at the judgment. You better mind. You better mind what you sing. You better mind what you sing about. You gotta give an account at the judgment. You better mind. Say, you better song is called Strawberries and Glory. I'm proud to say I made up the tune. And I'm gonna weave in about these young boys that you see in the subway, you know, trying to hustle. Give them $1 when you see. All right? Strawberry. I come from 4 miles out of town. I'm going to the glory. My strawberries are sweet and sound. I'm going to the glory. I watched them 4 miles on my head. I'm going to the glory. My child is sick, my husband's dead. I'm going to the glory. Eat them with your bread and meat. I'm going to the glory. My strawberries are good and sweet. Come sit it down on your knees. Going to the Lord and eat my strawberries if you please. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Antoine, and I am selling candy. No, I'm not selling candy to no basketball team. I am selling candy to keep a little money in my pocket. I got Twizzlers, I got fruit roll-ups, I got famous eggs. I'm not robbing or stealing. I'm candy dealing. Who would like to buy? Give them $1. I'm going to the glory. 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 I've come from 4 miles out of town. I'm going to the glory. My strawberries are sweet and sound. I've watched them 4 miles on my head. My child is sick, my husband's dead. Eat them with your bread and meat. My strawberries are good and sweet. Come sit it down on your knees. And eat my strawberries if you please. I'm going to the glory. For that song, we're going to use a song called Singing with a Sword in My Hand, which is the name, if you remember, of the play that I wrote. And it's a lovely song, and you'll see where you're going to, where you don't have to sing ever, but you'll see where you can come. I'm singing when the sun come up. I'm singing when it's high in the sky. I'm singing when the sun goes down. I'm singing 'cause I'm free. Singing with a sword in my hand, Lord. Singing with a sword in my hand. Singing with a sword in my hand, Lord. Singing with a sword in my hand. Prettiest singing I ever heard. Way over here. Angels sing, I sing too. Singing with a sword in my hand, Lord. Singing with a sword in my hand. Singing with a sword in my hand, Lord. Singing with a sword in my hand. Praying with a sword in my hand, Lord. Praying with a sword in my hand. Praying with a sword in my hand, Lord. Praying with a sword in my hand. Prettiest praying I ever heard. Way over here. Angels pray, I pray too. Praying with a sword in my hand, Lord. Praying with a sword in my hand. Praying with a sword in my hand, Lord. Praying with a sword in my hand. Shouting with a sword in my hand, Lord. Shouting with a sword in my hand. Shouting with a sword in my hand.
two things. One is that she had